Erewhon, the beloved chain of natural food stores based in Los Angeles. I think they're up to 8 stores now. Sort of a, I don't know how you describe it in terms of Whole Foods, probably a Whole Foods, ultra Whole Foods, perhaps. I think that's probably the best way to do it. And, there was a really interesting article sort of profiling the chain recently in the New York Times from top to bottom, an interesting read. I think one of the things that I had no idea, I really didn't know anything about when it came to Erewhon was its foundations. And the first store was actually in Boston. It was opened in 1966. The first Erewhon was based right in our backyard.
Wow.
I know. I thought that was really interesting to see, the comparison of
what happened.
Yeah, when it launched, where it launched versus launching in LA and comparing the success between Boston and, the West Coast.
I mean, clearly no one was into cold pressed juice and CBD back in the 60s or whatever it was. But no, it was pretty interesting to see how it seems like it was a retailer kind of repurposed and uplifted, to a Southern California location. And obviously, times are very different now. So
they are, because Erewhon is what Bread and Circus was for a long time. The place to go for, to spot the latest trends. And then Bread and Circus obviously became Whole Foods, which just got bigger and better. And now it's kind of, Whole Foods still awesome, of course, but now Erewhon's kind of like that place that people want to, if you're in Erewhon, you're trendy, new, you're the place to be spotted. So the question becomes, when does the next Erewhon come out, right? When does Erewhon not Erewhon? Or does that even happen?
Well, Erewhon is expanding, as I mentioned. I think that the article in the Times mentioned that they have 6 locations, but on Clubhouse, an executive from Erewhon mentioned that they're expanding into 2 more stores later this year and more beyond that. They received a minority investment from an investment firm called Stripes Group, which holds equity investments in some really well-known brands, including Califia Farms, Blue Apron, Siete Family Foods. And so when that investment happened, I think a lot of people thought they were really going to make a massive push across the U.S. into East Coast locations too. Remains to be seen if that will happen. It hasn't happened yet, but I certainly wouldn't mind seeing an Erewhon in our backyard again.
I wouldn't either, as long as they can keep the formula. The thing is they've got to continue to, Erewhon needs to continue to innovate, to continue to be Erewhon, or somebody else comes along and becomes the next Erewhon. That's my point.
Part of their formula is also just being hyper local. So they're really focused on the community that they're serving. They're sourcing the brands from, the region. They even, I think I read in the article that they have local DJs that create the playlists. So they're thinking about the entire experience for that demographic. Like they know their LA demographic. So I think I'm really curious to see if they do expand out of LA, which I assume they plan to do. How is that going to be successful? And how are they going to apply that formula to other demographics and other regions?
I think it definitely would apply to expansion in California, like, I don't know, Orange County, San Diego, San Francisco, places with lots of local, unique food and beverage products. I think, hard to see it, going somewhere like a Boston. That might be a little tough, but definitely would welcome a few more of those, though.
Well, it does seem to be Erewhon that is ground zero for introducing innovative new products or brands. Going back to Clubhouse, I was speaking with an entrepreneur who has a bread company, and she said that she has leveraged her placements in Erewhon to get Whole Foods attention. She's saying, okay, well, if Erewhon's taking our brand in, and they are really, again, the place to be for launching the most innovative products, ingredients in natural foods, well then, of course, Whole Foods has got to be in that game as well. Mm-hmm. So it was interesting to see how she played that game. She said she doesn't think she could have gotten to Whole Foods otherwise. She said Erewhon really was that launching pad.
I think it's a launching pad for both, the retailers and the consumers. I know whenever we're in LA, we're making an effort to go out of our way to go to Erewhon. And I think people respect the curation, they respect the innovation, and they have that reputation. So I think that's why they were probably able to leverage that partnership with Erewhon.
Yes. A beautiful store with beautiful products and brands, and apparently, according to the New York Times article, a place where beautiful people want to be seen as well, as Mike mentioned, which is why we go there all the time.